Ladies and gentlemen, there's something strangely powerful about being underestimated. When people doubt you, overlook you, or simply don't see you coming, it can either break you, or it can build you into something unstoppable. Being underestimated doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean you're incapable. It means they haven't seen the fire you're carrying inside. And maybe, just maybe, that's the advantage you never knew you had. When the world doesn't expect much from you, it creates a silence, a space where pressure fades and potential grows. No one's watching, no one's measuring, and in that quiet, something amazing can happen. You start working without limits. You start moving with freedom. You get to write your story without commentary. No critics, no distractions, just you, your vision, and your grind. Most people think being seen early is a good thing, but attention is heavy. Applause can be addicting. Expectations become cages. When everyone's watching, you're performing. But when no one's watching, you're creating, you're becoming, you're evolving without filters, without fear. Being underestimated removes the spotlight. And in the dark, you shine in ways no one expected. They didn't think you'd wake up early. They didn't think you'd keep going after the first rejection. They didn't think you'd have the courage to keep building after being overlooked, ignored, or laughed at. But you did. Quietly, steadily, relentlessly. And while they talked, while they doubted, while they scrolled past your progress, you were outgrowing their expectations. That is the power of being underestimated. The greatest advantage of being underestimated is the element of surprise. You're not a threat in their eyes, so they don't block your path. They don't compete with you. They don't copy you. They don't study you because they don't believe you'll make it. They think you're small, incapable, not good enough, and that ignorance becomes your invisibility cloak. It becomes your protection while you build something massive under their radar. And when the moment comes, when the results finally break the surface, it doesn't just make an impact, it leaves them stunned because they never saw you coming. While they were competing loudly in the front, you were crafting something legendary in the back. They were loud, you were strategic, they performed, you prepared, they sought validation, you built value. And that contrast, it's what makes your breakthrough unforgettable. Think of some of the greatest success stories. Many of them started in silence. People told them they weren't talented, weren't ready, weren't good enough. But they didn't argue. They didn't plead to be seen. They went quiet and got to work. They turned doubt into discipline. They let the disbelief fuel their focus. And over time, they outgrew the labels, they surpassed the judgments, and they rewrote the narrative entirely. There's a deep kind of motivation that comes from being counted out. It awakens something in you. It drives you to prove not to them, but to yourself that you are more, that you are capable, that you are worthy. And when your motivation is internal, it lasts longer, it burns brighter, because it's not about applause anymore, it's about alignment. It's about doing what you were born to do, regardless of who's watching. Silence doesn't mean you're standing still. It means you're sharpening, it means you're strengthening. It means you're focused on substance, not just surface. And when you finally speak not with words, but with results, it carries a weight that no speech ever could. Let them sleep on you. Let them mock you. Let them ignore you. Because in doing so, they give you the most valuable thing of all, space to rise. Time to evolve. Room to grow. And when the time is right, you won't need to introduce yourself. You'll just show up, ready, undeniable, unstoppable. You see, the underestimated are often the most dangerous because they have nothing to lose and everything to prove. They don't waste energy on appearances. They invest in mastery. They build in silence, and when they arrive, they make sure no one ever forgets it. The world today is obsessed with noise. Everywhere you look, someone is talking, posting, sharing, announcing, trying to be seen, trying to be heard. Social media has turned everyday life into a stage, and validation has become a currency. It's not about doing something meaningful anymore, it's about doing something noticeable. Loudness is mistaken for value. Visibility is mistaken for success. And the truth is, most people would rather look successful than actually become successful. People chase noise because it gives them instant attention. It makes them feel important, even if that importance is shallow. A flashy post, a viral tweet, a moment in the spotlight, it feels good. It tricks the brain into believing you're making progress, even when nothing is actually being built. It's a distraction, a dangerous one, Because while you're collecting likes and comments, someone else is collecting skills, sharpening discipline, and laying the foundation for a life that doesn't just look good, it actually is good. We live in an era where perception is often prioritized over reality. You could be struggling, stressed, and lost, but as long as your pictures are polished and your captions are clever, the world assumes you're thriving. And in that illusion, people get trapped. They chase applause and attention instead of impact and growth. They start living for external validation, and the noise becomes their identity. They can't stop performing because without the noise, they feel invisible. But here's the truth. Being loud isn't the same as being powerful. Just because someone's name is everywhere doesn't mean their foundation is solid. Just because a person is trending doesn't mean they're transforming. Volume doesn't equal value. And yet the world keeps chasing it because silence is uncomfortable. It feels empty. It feels lonely. It feels like you're being left behind while everyone else is being seen. What most people don't realize is that real progress rarely makes noise. It's quiet. It's internal. It's not always glamorous or exciting. It's those early mornings when no one is clapping for you. It's the sacrifices made behind closed doors. It's the endless hours spent mastering your craft while others are busy being noticed. But because there's no spotlight on it, most people overlook it. They assume if it's not loud, it's not working. If it's not shared, it's not happening. And that's where they're wrong. The world chases noise because it's addicted to reaction. We want likes, shares, applause, anything that confirms we matter. But here's the danger in that. When your worth is tied to how loudly the world responds to you, you become a slave to their approval. You stop doing things for yourself and start doing things for attention. And eventually you burn out not because you worked too hard, but because you built your identity on noise instead of truth. Think about how many people give up not because they weren't making progress, but because no one noticed it. They were working, improving, moving forward, but since the results weren't public or flashy, they started doubting themselves. That's the trap noise creates. It teaches us to believe that visibility equals value, but it doesn't. Some of the most valuable things grow in silence. A seed doesn't shout when it sprouts. A masterpiece isn't painted in front of an audience. Greatness is crafted in solitude and revealed only when it's ready. But the world doesn't celebrate the silent worker. It celebrates the one who can market themselves the best. And that's okay. Let them. Let them chase the spotlight while you chase substance. Let them chase fame while you chase mastery. Let them get loud. You stay locked in. You build with intention. You grind with purpose. Because when your time comes, you won't need to speak loudly. Your results will do the talking. And their noise will be no match for your impact. The world chases noise because it's easier. It's easier to be seen than it is to be excellent. It's easier to post than it is to persist. It's easier to look busy than to actually be disciplined. But if you want real success, the kind that lasts, you have to choose the harder path. You have to tune out the noise and build something real, something deep, something that can stand without applause. Because when you're rooted in purpose, you don't need to shout. You don't need to chase the spotlight. You become the light. Let me know if you like this formatted into voiceover-ready content, visuals for a video, or if you're ready for the next section of the speech. The beauty of building in silence lies in the unmatched clarity it brings. When no one is watching, judging, or interrupting your journey, you're finally able to hear your own voice. You move with authenticity instead of expectation. You begin to create not for attention, but from intention. There's no need to impress, no pressure to perform. It's just you, your mission, and your quiet progress. In the silence, you discover what truly drives you. You strip away the noise of opinions, comparisons, and distractions. That silence becomes your sanctuary, your training ground. Every brick you lay is deliberate. Every decision is rooted in growth, not recognition. You become deeply focused, consistent, and self-aware. You start to enjoy the process instead of craving the praise. Because in silence, the reward is the work itself. It's not about getting credit. It's about getting better. There's something sacred about those early mornings when it's just you and your craft. No applause, no updates, no status to maintain. It's just quiet hustle. That kind of discipline builds a different kind of strength. You begin to understand that real change doesn't need to be documented, it needs to be done. And over time, something powerful begins to happen. You start to grow in ways that can't be measured by likes or comments. Your confidence stops depending on outside reactions. You find peace in progress. You feel the shift. The silence starts speaking louder than the noise ever could. Because when you emerge, you don't just come back improved, you come back unmechanizable. And the ones who once ignored you, they can't look away. Not because you told them, but because your growth is undeniable. The beauty of building in silence is that it keeps you grounded, humble, and dangerously focused. It's where your foundation is poured. It's where greatness is born. And while others chase the spotlight, you become the kind of person who doesn't need it. You don't just succeed, you evolve quietly, patiently, powerfully. Taking back control from external validation begins the moment you stop needing applause to feel worthy, when your motivation no longer comes from how others see you, but from how you see yourself. When you realize that chasing approval is a race with no finish line, because the standards are always shifting, always controlled by someone else's expectations, likes, opinions, and moods. And when your self-worth is tied to that, you become a puppet, adjusting your actions not based on truth, but based on trends. You start to compromise your vision, your values, your originality just to be accepted. But acceptance that demands you to shrink isn't worth having. Because if they only respect the version of you that entertains them, they don't respect the real you at all. Taking back control means rewriting the story from the inside out. It means choosing your path even when no one's watching. Even when no one claps, because purpose isn't proven by praise, it's proven by persistence. When you let go of the need to be seen, you finally start to see yourself clearly. You remember why you started, not for recognition, but for transformation. Not to impress, but to impact. And that shift changes everything. Suddenly, you don't feel pressure to post every move. You feel peace in making quiet progress. Suddenly, their silence doesn't discourage you, it fuels you. Because you built something stronger than validation. Conviction, confidence that comes from within can't be taken away. It doesn't rise and fall with opinions. It stays steady through failure and success, through doubt and faith. And when you operate from that kind of internal power, your results speak louder than your words ever could. You become someone who's not distracted by judgment or shaken by rejection. Someone who no longer needs permission to be great. Because greatness isn't given its claim. And the moment you stop looking for confirmation is the moment you step fully into your own power. No filters, no fear, just focused truth. Just undeniable strength. Let your results do the talking, because words can be doubted, but outcomes cannot. People may question your plans, mock your silence, dismiss your journey, but they cannot ignore your progress. When you're truly committed to something, you don't need to constantly explain yourself, defend your vision, or announce your moves. Your work will speak when it's time. And when it speaks, it won't whisper, it will roar. In a world where everyone's busy promoting, performing, and pretending, there's something incredibly powerful about someone who chooses to stay quiet and stay focused. Because real builders don't waste time proving their potential. They spend that time becoming undeniable. And when the results arrive, they say everything. They silence doubt. They shift conversations. They flip the narrative. People begin to listen not because you demanded their attention, but because you earned it. Every hour you spent working while they were watching. Every decision you made in the dark, every time you kept going, despite no recognition, that all stacks up into a moment where silence turns into impact. You don't need to convince them you're serious. You just need to become so good they can't deny it. The loudest message you'll ever send is the life you build without needing permission, because when the winds show up, you won't have to chase credit. Credit will find you, and those who once ignored you will be the ones quoting you. Sharing your work, looking up to the person they once looked past. Let your discipline speak. Let your consistency echo. Let your results be louder than their noise. That's the language success understands. It doesn't care about opinions. It responds to effort, patience, and resilience. So don't worry if they don't see it now. Just keep building. Because when you finally arrive, they won't ask what you were doing. They'll ask how you did it. The wonder effect is what happens when the same people who overlooked you suddenly can't stop talking about you. When the doubters become curious, the critics go quiet, and the silence you once felt turns into stunned admiration. They wonder how you did it when you did it, how they missed it, but the truth is they weren't paying attention because they never believed they needed to. They thought you were average, invisible, replaceable. They thought your silence meant you weren't making moves. But it was in that silence that you built your power, your identity, your discipline, and by the time they notice, it's too late to catch up because you didn't just grow, you evolved. While they were distracted by trends, you were mastering your craft. While they laughed, you leveled up, and now your results speak a language they never prepared for. Success has a way of exposing who really believed in you and who only supports what's popular. And when you rise without their validation, it shocks them, it humbles them, it makes them question everything they thought they knew about you. The wonder effect isn't about revenge. It's about revelation. It's about proving to yourself that you never needed their permission to become who you were destined to be. It's a moment of quiet satisfaction, knowing that your consistency did what your words never could. You didn't argue, you didn't beg to be seen, you just worked. And when the spotlight finally hits you, it doesn't feel like luck, it feels like confirmation. And they wonder because they missed the most important part of your journey, the becoming, the process, the struggle, the breakthrough. They missed it all because they weren't watching when it mattered. And now that you've made it, they only see the surface, not the story, and that's what makes your glow up so powerful. It wasn't handed to you. It was earned in the dark, in silence, in solitude, and now that they wonder, let them, because their confusion is just a reflection of your growth. You turn their doubt into your drive, their silence into your fuel, and their ignorance into your edge. Now they're watching, but it's too late to understand the fire that built you. The vision that shaped you and the storm you had to walk through to become this unstoppable version of yourself. Silence is your shield, and strategy is not weakness. It's wisdom. It's choosing not to announce every move, not because you're unsure, but because you're focused. It's understanding that not everything needs to be seen to be significant. When you operate in silence, you protect your energy, your vision, your momentum. You avoid unnecessary noise, criticism, and interference. You shield your goals from opinions that might shake your confidence before they ever take root. Silence allows you to build without pressure, to fail without shame, to learn without distraction. In a world obsessed with constant updates and oversharing, silence becomes your superpower. It's the space where you sharpen your craft, nurture your dreams, and train your mind. While others are performing, you're preparing. While they're broadcasting, you're building, because strategy isn't about being seen. It's about being ready, and silence gives you that edge. It keeps your competitors guessing, your distractions low, and your discipline high. It turns your journey inward, making sure your motives are pure, your actions aligned, and your outcomes intentional. Silence forces you to become resourceful, to depend on your grind instead of others' praise. And when you treat your silence as strategy, you start moving with a different kind of power. You don't seek attention, you attract it through excellence. You don't react to noise, you rise above it with results. And in time, that silence you once used as a shield becomes a statement, a quiet declaration that you didn't need hype to succeed. You needed focus, you didn't need noise to grow. You needed depth. And while others wonder how you stayed so grounded, how you stayed so driven without validation, you'll know the truth. It was the silence that shaped you, strengthened you, protected you from everything that wasn't meant for you, and prepared you for everything that was. No need to explain, just deliver, because the more you talk, the more room you leave for doubt, opinions, resistance, and misinterpretation. When you're truly committed to something meaningful, you don't need to convince people. You just need to commit, because explanation is often wasted on those who aren't ready to understand. When you stop explaining, you start conserving energy for what actually matters: execution. Not every dream needs a defense. Not every move needs a justification. Not everyone deserves access to your blueprint. Your goals are not public property, and your vision is not up for a vote. There's a quiet strength in keeping things to yourself, in letting people assume what they want while you build what you need. When you deliver results, Everything becomes clear without a word. It speaks louder than opinions. It crushes doubt without debate. And it proves that consistency is a better communicator than explanation ever will be. Explanations might win you agreement, but results win you respect. People may question your timing, your silence, your absence, but when you return with something real, those questions fade into admiration. Because while they were seeking validation through noise, you were building credibility through action. When you show up with results, people listen differently, they see you differently, because proof doesn't beg for attention, it commands it. And once you understand that, you stop wasting time trying to make people believe in your process. You just keep refining it, growing through it, and eventually shining because of it. Those who get it won't need an explanation, and those who don't matter when your delivery becomes undeniable. So keep building, grinding, keep showing up not with words, but with work, and let the results do what explanations never could. Silence is power because it holds what noise tries to imitate. It carries intention, discipline, clarity, and focus. It's not the absence of sound, it's the presence of control. It means you don't need to prove, beg, or explain. You don't need to overshare your process or ask for permission to dream big. When you move in silence, you move with purpose. Every step calculated, every decision rooted in growth. Silence protects what matters most, your energy, your peace, your progress. In silence, there are no distractions, no applause to chase, no audience to perform for, just you and the work, just you and the mission. Silence makes you powerful because it keeps your fire hidden while it grows hotter. It shields your vision while it becomes sharper. It makes you unpredictable, untouchable, unstoppable. And when you finally step into the light, they won't know how you got there, but they'll feel it. Because silence creates mystery. Mystery builds presence, and presence commands respect. True strength doesn't shout, it shows up again and again without needing recognition, without seeking attention. It's steady, it's patient, it's unshakable. That's what silence gives you. In a world addicted to noise, those who master silence rise above it all. They win quietly, grow relentlessly, and let the world wonder how they did it. And by the time they notice, it's already done. In conclusion, silence isn't just the absence of sound. It's the presence of power. It's the place where real work gets done, where growth happens unnoticed by the world. It's where you build your foundation, sharpen your skills, and develop your character without needing to be seen or heard. Silence allows you to move with purpose, undistracted, unbothered by the noise around you. It teaches you to stay focused, stay disciplined, and trust the process even when no one else believes. The world may chase the loudest voices, the brightest lights, and the most visible successes, but the quiet achievers, the ones who build without applause, they are the ones who truly win. Because their results speak for themselves. So stop wasting energy explaining yourself to people who don't understand your journey. Stop trying to impress and start working. Start becoming. Let your actions, your discipline, and your dedication do the talking. And when you emerge, the world won't be able to ignore you. They'll be left in awe, wondering how you did it. But by then, it won't matter, because you'll already be where you were meant to be, standing tall. Unapologetically you, proving that silence isn't weakness, it's strength, it's power, and it's how you win. Good luck, and thank you.